All right, let's talk about a chemical you've definitely heard of, serotonin. But I'm going to bet that everything you think you know about it, well, it's just the tip of the iceberg. The real story is so much cooler. So when I say serotonin, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's the happy chemical, right? It's that easy, go-to explanation for why we feel good. But is it really that simple? Yeah, not even close. The truth is, that simple little nickname is hiding a system that is just mind-blowingly complex, and it's doing a whole lot more than just managing our mood. Okay, so let's get right into the first major mythbuster, and trust me, this one is a biggie. It all comes down to where we actually find serotonin in the body. Because, surprise, we're not talking about one system, we're talking about two completely separate ones. And here is the number that just blows my mind every time. Are you ready for this? A whopping 95% of your body's serotonin is not in your brain at all. It's made and stored in your gut. Yep, your stomach and intestines. So do the math. That leaves just this tiny little 5%. That's the stuff that's actually in your central nervous system, in your brain. This is the serotonin that gets all the press, the one that acts like a neurotransmitter and plays a role in how we think and feel. Okay, so that leads to a pretty obvious question, right? If nearly all of it's down in our gut, how on earth does it affect our brain? Can it, just float on up there when we need it? Well, the short answer is a hard no, and the reason why is something called the blood-brain barrier. Seriously, think of it like the world's tightest security bouncer for your brain. It's this super protective layer that decides what gets in and what stays out. And guess what? Serotonin from your gut is on the not allowed list. It cannot cross over. Which means, and this is the key takeaway, the serotonin in your gut and the serotonin in your brain are two totally separate independent operations. Okay, so let's forget about the gut for a second and focus on that elite 5%, the stuff that's actually made inside the brain. If it isn't just a simple happy chemical, then what in the world is it doing? Well, a much better term for it would be the brain's master modulator. And this is basically the serotonin superhighway inside your head. It's wild. All of the brain's serotonin comes from this one tiny little area in the brainstem called the raphe nuclei. See it down there lit up in red? But from that one little spot, look at that, it projects out and plugs into virtually every single part of the brain. It's incredible. So you can start to get a sense of just how massive its influence is. I mean, we are talking about way more than just feeling happy or sad. Serotonin is helping to tweak and adjust things like learning and memory, how we deal with anxiety, how we act around other people, how our brain processes rewards, even how we form memories of bad experiences. Its fingerprints are everywhere. So, yeah, let's just toss that idea of a simple happiness switch right out the window. It's just not accurate. A much, much better way to picture it is like an orchestra conductor. See, serotonin doesn't play the violin or the trumpet itself. Instead, it stands at the front and directs all the different sections of the brain, fine-tuning their performance so that everything works together in beautiful harmony. Okay, so if serotonin is our brain's conductor, what happens when the conductor starts to stumble? What happens when that beautiful harmony just falls apart? This is where we really see why understanding this system is so critical. Now, I know this diagram looks a little intense, but just focus on the middle for a second. See that 5-HT? That's just the sciencey name for serotonin. And look at all those lines shooting out from it. When this system gets dysregulated, when it's out of whack, it's connected to a whole host of neuropsychiatric disorders. And we're talking about some major ones. It's not just depression, which is what most people think of. We're also seeing links to OCD, schizophrenia, general anxiety, even ADHD. It really drives home the point that having a good conductor isn't just a nice little bonus. It is absolutely essential for our mental well-being. So this deep, complex connection to so many conditions, that brings us to the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle, treatment. Because as you can probably guess, if the system itself is this complicated, well, trying to fix it is not going to be easy. And one of the biggest hurdles for scientists is that serotonin can act in, and I'm quoting the research directly here, different and frequently opposing mechanisms. What does that even mean? It means the exact same chemical can fire up one part of the brain while simultaneously telling another part to calm down. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation. Let me give you a really fascinating example that shows just how tricky this is. So let's say you want to improve learning. The obvious thought is, okay, let's just activate some serotonin receptors. And yeah, sometimes that works. And here's the crazy part. Scientists have also found that blocking a different type of serotonin receptor can do the exact same thing. It can also improve learning. So that whole idea of just boost serotonin and everything will be great, it's completely wrong. It's all about finding this incredibly precise, delicate balance. So, to wrap this all up, it's pretty clear serotonin is so much more than just the happy chemical. It's this master conductor for our brain, a super complex regulator that actually operates in two totally separate systems, and it's a huge player in our mental health. And all of this really leaves us with one big, forward-looking question. As we get better and better at mapping this unbelievably intricate system, are we finally getting closer to a future where we can create truly personalized treatments for mental health?